Multiplying fractions is a little bit more complicated to model and demonstrate using fraction strips. But when I teach about multiplying fractions, I always start by reminding students of what they already know about what multiplication means related to whole numbers. So for example, the problem 3 times 4 means 3 sets of 4 things. There are 3 sets of 4 things, and the product of 3 times 4 is 12. So let's think about it this way with these problems as well. 3 times 1/2 would mean 3 sets of 1/2. So just like up here with the whole numbers, this would be repeated addition of 4 plus 4 plus 4 to get 12. This would be repeated addition of 1/2, 1/2, 1/2. So the multiplication of 3 times 1/2 would mean add 1/2 3 times, repeated addition, or 3 sets of halves, which we could simplify by trading the 2 halves for 1. So the product of 3 times 1/2 is 1.5. So let's look at this with the standard rules that you probably learned when you learned how to multiply fractions. To multiply, you leave the first number, which is, in this case, is a whole number, so we need to create it at a fraction, 3 over 1, and then we need to just multiply the numerator times the numerator, which is 3 times 1, which is 3, and the denominator times the denominator, which is 1 times 2, which is 2. This turns into an improper fraction, which can be simplified into the product that we encountered, 1.5. So 6 times 1/3 would be repeated addition, 6 sets of 1/3s, or we could think of it as 1/3 plus 1/3 6 times. So let's start our repeated addition. 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 4/3, 5/3, 6/3. So there is our 6 sets of 1/3. So how could we simplify that? Well, you might right away notice that 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 is equivalent to 1, and then 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 is equivalent to 1. So we've simplified to 2. Six over 1 is 6 times 1 over 3. We could multiply the numerators times the numerator. 6 times 1 is 6. 1 times 3 is 3. And we have a division problem. Remember, that's one of the models of fractions that we discussed in the first week of class. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So let's think about it the other way. What if the first factor is the fraction and the second factor is a whole number? This would mean half of a set of 2 things. Half of a set of 2 things. And those 2 things are whole numbers. Clear my board here. So we're going to do repeated addition that says half of a set of 2. So this is my set of 2. Half of a set of 2 is 1. 1/2 times the whole number 2 is a fraction, 2 over 1. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2. Simplify that to 1. Now my last problem is a bit of a challenge to model. 1/2 of 2/3. 1/2 of a set of 2/3. So let's start with the 2/3. Now we need to find out what half of that is. Unfortunately, we need to find out what half of the 2/3 is. So we could take away half of the 2/3, which leaves us with 1/3. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. That could be simplified to 1/3.